Hi, this is Dr. Gold. I just want to go over the abundance of resources that are available to you on the MyPearson Finance Lab website. The reason I'm taking my time to do this video is because throughout the semester I'm going to direct you to certain videos and resources that are on the Pearson Finance Lab site, and I want to make sure that everybody knows how to access them. So we're going to start here with our HCC. Well, we actually can go to the HCC homepage. And then, you'll go to My HCC and you'll log in there. I'm just going to log in with my temporary student ID. Once you log in, you'll see your courses listed off to the right over here. This is Principles of Finance, so I'm going to click on that class. And this is our course homepage. You should have by now completed all of the tasks associated with the Starting Here folder. You should have watched the syllabus videos. You should have registered for Pearson My Finance Lab. You should have registered for the Stock Market Challenge, and you should have taken the syllabus acknowledgement all by January 16th. As you move into the weekly modules, which is where you'll be spending most of your time, and we go to the Module 1 here, which is due January 22nd, 2015, there's going to be 3 steps in every single module. The first step will be to review some videos. Sometimes I'll have a lecture video in here as I do in Module 1. I'll have other resources in here, sometimes like PowerPoint, although you should know that all the PowerPoint files are listed here on the left-hand menu for all of the chapters that we'll be covering. They're right over there on the left-hand side. The other thing in the module is a check-in assignment. So, you have a check-in assignment, sometimes multiple assignments each week. You'll have to read through them and complete those assignments. If you're not sure how to upload work to Blackboard after you've completed, let's say, this week 1 check-in assignment number 3, all you do is after you finish it, you'll see step 6 says type this summary into a Microsoft Word file and attach it to this assignment. To attach it to this assignment all you do is you click on the title of the assignment where it says week 1 CIA-3, and it'll bring you to another page. You scroll down to the middle and you click Browse My Computer to browse to the location of where you saved your Microsoft Word file. You attach that, and then you scroll down to the bottom and hit Submit on the lower right. Now, I started out the video by talking about the Pearson My Finance Lab site, so I want to take you to that now, which will always be available to you as a reminder in Step 3. Step 3 is where you're going to take your weekly quiz and homework assignment on the MyPearson website. So you go into, again, Module 3, or Step 3 rather, in each module where it says complete the homework and quiz. There'll be a link in there to the login page for Pearson. And then you log in. So I'm going to just I created a username through my University of Tampa email address. I teach in their graduate school, so I just use that to set up like a student account. So it looks the same as yours will look when you log in. And you'll see Principles of Finance. I happen to have 2 classes here. If you have the temporary access code, it'll say in red how many days you have left before you have to purchase the code and enter it. This is where you would enter the code once you purchase the textbook if you have not already done so. But let's hop into the course itself. Now on the top left, you can see here there's a link to the various quizzes. There's homework 1. I don't know why there's multiple ones there, but I'll fix that. And then quiz 1. And again, those are due January 22nd. And then the schedule moves forward in accordance with all the due dates in the syllabus. You can move ahead at your own pace and certainly take multiple quizzes before they're due. That might actually be advantageous to you so you don't end up missing due dates. But you have to get the assignments done by these due dates. The second thing I want to show you in here, which is very important, is over here on the left, there's an e-text. So if you're ever on the road and you don't have your textbook with you, you can go into my Pearson My Finance Lab, click on the e-text, click on the link for the e-text there, and it'll load the entire textbook onto the computer, so you're able to navigate through different chapters, through different homework assignments, and so on and so forth. The third thing that's in here, which is really the highlight of why I wanted to spend the time showing you this, is the area called Multimedia Library, PowerPoint files, and so forth. And when you click on that, you'll see here a screen that comes up. The cover of the textbook, by the way, looks a little bit different because we have a slightly different adopted textbook for our course at HCC, but it is the correct textbook, so don't be alarmed by that. And then you hop to a chapter. So I'm going to just pick here chapter 6, the time value of money, annuities, and other topics. And I'll just click select all for the media type and then hit find now. And again, the way I got here was I went into my finance lab, I clicked on multimedia library on the left hand side. I'll just do it one more time. I clicked on the chapter I was interested in. I'm just picking chapter 6. And then I always pick select all and then hit find now. Now when you do that, it has a bunch of things in here. It has the PowerPoint, which is also in Blackboard. It has some tutorials for the financial calculator related to that specific chapter, which is very important. So for example, if you pick, let's say, tutorial number 3 and you open it up, it'll bring up a tutorial on calculations related to the specific topics in this chapter. I don't know why it's not loading up this second. There it goes. So it gives you a scenario, and I'll stop talking so you can hear a minute of it.
Seriously for her retirement. At the end of each year until she is 65 years old, she will save $10,000 in a retirement account. If the account earns 10% per year, how much will Ellen have saved at age 65?
So you hit start. And then it takes you through different steps for how to calculate and solve for that particular problem. But the real power of these chapters are these video checkpoints over here, if you see that on the right-hand side toward the bottom. They're PowerPoint style videos done by other instructors that cover how to solve specific problems using just the math formula, a calculator, and Excel. So I'll just sort of take you through one of them so you can see what this is about.
Let's take a look at the problem in step 5, check yourself, from checkpoint 6.1 in Financial Management by Titman, Cowan, and Martin. This checkpoint deals with the calculation of an ordinary annuity payment. Now, if you recall, with an annuity, what you have is a series of equal dollar payments that are made at the end of equal time in the real world and on our investment. So in this case, we know that the rate of return we're going to earn is 12%. We want to accumulate, that's going to be our future value, $100,000, and it's for a child's education at the end of 18 years. And so we're trying to figure out exactly how much we want to invest or have to invest annually in order to achieve this. So let's get at it. Let's first do the math, and we know that the future value formula says that the future value at the end of n years is equal to the payment we make times 1 plus I taken to the nth power minus 1, all that divided by I. And so in this case, if we plug in the numbers, we see that we want our future value to be $100,000. And that's going to be equal to payment, which we're going to solve for. And we're going to multiply that times, well, in this case, I is 12%, so we're going to have 1.12. That's 1 plus I, and I is 0.12. Divide all that by I, which in this case, once again, is 12%.
So that's an example of him, going over the actual math for that particular equation. I'll just take you through a couple of other examples of him using the financial calculator and so forth to give you an idea of a really good way for you to study each particular chapter.
We work through this, we find out that we have $100,000, given the fact that you're after a numbers in using your financial calculator. You can also do the same with Excel. They're just asking for exactly the same information. And in this case, if you're doing this, if you're doing it on an exam, right next to the problem, you'd write NIPV, PMT, and FV, which are all the functions, all the input numbers on that row of your financial calculator. And then you just plug the numbers in and solve for what you're solving for. In this case, you know you're going to be solving for payment because that's what you want to come up with. And N is going to be 18 because we have 18 years. 12 is the interest rate. You know, that we got that from our problem also. We're starting out with nothing. We want to know what our payments have to be in order to end up with $100,000. And so when we hit compute PMT, we're going to get a value of negative 1,793.73. Now, don't let that minus sign bother you. You know, the fact that you ended up with a positive down here. Obviously, you're going to have to take $1,973 and put it in that investment at the end of each year. So, you know, the way a financial calculator, of course, works is that one of these cash flows has to be negative. It treats it kind of, the cash flow is kind of like a bank. Actually, we would have gotten a negative sign down here. You get the same thing with respect to Excel. And what happens is in order to end up with a certain amount in the future, you have to deposit money. So you have to interest rate, invested your money at 12%, their education as early as possible.
So that's the essence of those videos. Again, there's many of these videos. They're designed, and I'll do some of my own as well, but they're designed to sort of reinforce and sort of walk you through the process of solving a lot of these problems. So when I refer you to...
Let's take a look at the problem.
So when I refer you to different checkpoints to help you to study, you'll know now how to access those. Again, you'll log into My Finance Lab. You'll click over here underneath Multimedia Library. You'll pick the chapter that we're covering, let's say chapter, 3. You'll hit Select All and then Find Now. This particular chapter doesn't have any of those because there's no real math in this particular chapter. But when you get into the chapters where there's math required, you'll start to see you know, more of these sort of checkpoint assignments as you see here under these videos. They're a great resource to reinforce a lot of the content that we're covering. And because it's an online course, I'm just trying to give you access to all of the tools and resources that are at your fingertips to enable you to learn and absorb the material as we move forward. So that's it for this video. I just wanted to show you the different resources on My Finance Lab.